With all the Diddy news going around, Justin Bieber has broken his silence. Well, kinda broken his silence. He broke his silence through his rep. Now, what the rep said, Justin said, it was this. Um, Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who are genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Talking, of course, of the victims of Diddy. The reason we're going to talk about this is mostly to focus on the Justin Bieber aspect of this, as to why it took him this long to mention the fact that nothing happened between him and Diddy. Because remember, multiple times people have asked him, and he just kept saying has nothing to say about it. He distanced himself from it. But if nothing happened, you shouldn't need to distance yourself. You can just say nothing happened. Didn't do that. That's question number one. Why wouldn't you? Secondarily, if something did happen, what could be the reasons that he wouldn't say anything? It could be that he actually was participatory in it. Options, not saying that he was. But most people, if they enjoy the thing that they're doing, won't complain or tell anybody that is happening. Now, if you remember, there's another person that mentioned that exact scenario, a person by the name of Oprah Winfrey. If you remember her statement saying, well, if the person is doing it good enough, the other person will end up liking it. They'll never think anything of it. This coming probably from a woman who's probably done the exact same thing, but I digress. If we're looking at this objectively, one of two things, possibly even three things, could be true. He really was never a victim of Diddy. He was a victim and he liked it. Or he was a victim and he's now still too scared to say anything because of what people will say about what he did. Now, if any of those three are true, all of his responses would be completely warranted. Every last one of them, including sending out a statement by the rep to focus on the people that are in court right now for Diddy and not on him. That deflects on every status. It deflects on whether he liked it, didn't like it, or he's afraid. All three gets completely covered by that one statement. If you remember too, when Diddy brought first it was came to light and the video popped out and he said that I don't have legal guardianship of Bieber. I just have him for the next 48 hours and he is with me and we're gonna go full buck, full crazy. We spoke before about Justin's parents and how inadequate to the task they were to allow their child at the age of 15 to go with a random guy because he's celebrity for 48 hours unsupervised. We already mentioned that that was one of the most careless things to do. To each their own, I get, but the child was only 15 and he's with somebody who has had a questionable background. So, did in that 48 hours something transpire to either solidify the fear of Diddy in Justin, the love of Diddy in Justin, or the inability for Justin to come forward and say anything happened because he was part of it? If any of those three happen, this would explain in full why he is unable to say something happened between him and Diddy. Will he be called to testify? We don't know that either. Was there something more nefarious at hand where Justin got paid for something and he still owes and he has an NDA out there with Diddy? We don't know. But for him to come forward now during the case going on just to say, I was never a victim, I think the use of words makes a whole lot of sense. Again, this is the exact quote. Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims. Now, that could be taken multiple ways, including named. He isn't among the named victims. He's just not among the victims. Or you can say it means what it says. Justin is not among the victims of Sean Combs. Now, victims by whose standard? If he doesn't consider himself a victim because he gave in, then that's true. He's not a victim. If he's not a victim because he's afraid to say he's a victim, then it's not true that he's not a victim. He's just a scared one. If, however, he doesn't want people to know what he did, then he's a quiet victim. So the word use is very, very, very important. I mean, exquisite use, because you can take that anyway and they can always come back and say what we meant was blah, 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 blah. You see, what had happened, we were afraid. Or what had happened is that Justin was a kid. Or what had happened was, yes, this was something he indulged in, but he didn't want anybody knowing because his career was on the line. Maybe that is why he separated himself and was not in contact with Diddy anymore. Maybe he was doing that in order to solidify all of his avenues out. Maybe it upset Diddy. Maybe he knew that, because if you looked at the time when he said, well, how come you don't call me no more? Justin seems visually shook by the statement and almost like wanting to get away by saying, I wasn't trying to avoid you, man. It was almost like a sense of fear. Now, for what reason the fear was there, we still don't know. But to distance himself now is a timing question, first of all, but secondarily, the type of distancing that he's putting between the two. This is what Justin said after the whole buck crazy line. He agreed and said, we're going crazy. Let's go get some girls. Now, everybody who's anybody should know something about 15-year-old boys. Whether it's likable, a good trait, bad trait you should get rid of, it's still something that pervades a boy's mind, because puberty hits around that time and things go absolutely off the wall. If you give a 15-year-old boy full freedom to go with somebody who has money, an opportunity, and the first thing out of that kid's mouth is, let's go get some girls, you can easily buy that child's loyalty by giving him exactly what he wants. Now, we've already confirmed that the parents really didn't care what he did, because they left him alone unsupervised for 48 hours with Sean Puffy Combs, for crying out loud. You're going to tell me you don't know that the Sean Puffy Combs is the same person that pops bottles on the weekends and has girls ripped all over him based on just his music videos alone? And you're willing to leave your child alone for 48 hours with him? Anything goes. Justin's not going to complain. Girls, you got access to women and cars? Bet. I'm going to take it. It would be a surefire way to buy that child's friendship and loyalty for life. Even if you don't consider him a victim because he willingly went in with this plan, if it happened, he's still a victim because he was 15. Justin may be on the verge of a break, because if you've watched him lately, he looked really haggard and he's been going through the ringer again. Could this be his final swan song before he actually cracks and says what actually happened? Is this last-ditch effort to separate himself with this little memo that he put out by his representative a way to try and take attention off of him and try and just separate himself fully to take care of himself? Or are you seeing the precursors of the armor breaking on him and him coming out saying, this is exactly what took place? I didn't consider myself a victim because I was wanting this, but at 15, yes, I was a victim. Will he come forward and say, did Diddy even facilitate other people taking advantage of Justin, so that he doesn't consider Diddy the bad guy mainly, just other people? It's a very convoluted story because Justin won't be at least open with it. He has no requirements to be open with it. But at the same time, the fact that he's not being very outlandish with it leaves us to question exactly the why he's not speaking about it. For now, he's not mentioned in the files, at least not called to testify that we know of. No information has been asked of him about Diddy, but he is volunteering the fact that he does not have victim status when it comes to their history. True, false, we don't know. Maybe partially true, partially false, we don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Diddy made such a great job of grooming Justin that he has no idea that he was a victim? Does he know he's a victim and he's trying to hide that victim status for shame purposes? Or did he willingly participate in all of the things that Diddy might have been doing, liked it, and is now trying to distance himself so he doesn't get seen in the same light as Sean Combs? Whichever one your options are, please leave them in the comment section, because we'd like to see where many people's thought processes are in this. Again, it's because it's all speculatory. We don't know for a fact, but there are certain signs that gives us pause as to the real true story between Justin and Sean. We'll be keeping an eye on it because the case is still ongoing. And for all we know, Justin might still be called to testify on some way, shape, or form, either for the character of Sean or against it. We'll find out here soon enough. We look forward to your comments.
Training athletes, build leaders, changing communities. At Mentors for Life, sponsored by the Bully Me Bad Project, we provide free professional sports training and mentorship to youth with passion, drive, and the desire to grow. We connect them with top-tier coaching and leadership tools that unlock their full potential. Our athletes train with elite professionals like Coach Cedric Booty of CM3, who's worked with NBA players such as Jaden Ivey and Blake Wesley, and the dynamic team of Tevin Lake and Bobo from T2 Sports Performance. Together, they've trained standout athletes including Notre Dame football stars, NFL offensive lineman Danny Piner, and Kyron Williams. In a school or neighborhood of 1,000 youth, 5 redirected lives can mean 5 future leaders, 5 families spared heartbreak, and 5 powerful stories of hope. And this is backed by research from the Money Smart Athlete Foundation, which shows that athletes have a powerful influence on youth behavior, confidence, and long-term success. We don't just build athletes, we build mentors. High school students who complete our program will become certified Mentors for Life members and will be paid to speak, lead, and coach the next generation. To support Mentors for Life, all you have to do is click here if you're on a mobile device, or click here if you're on a computer to donate or learn more. Or you can reach us directly at mentorsforlife574@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mentors for Life. Donate today and help save our youth.